Good morning, guys. It's time for another BRZ update. New mods. Shorter final drive, 4.3 diff from a 2017 BRZ, and the suspension from a 2017 BRZ. This thing rides and handles perfectly now. Ride quality is amazing. Turning is sharp. That rear sway bar really helps the car rotate and takes out all the understeer that was inherent in BRZs of past. And the rear differential, the gearing is sweet. It's perfect. It's really, really, really ideal for this car's engine, and it makes shifting just a little bit more fun. Let's go for a drive. This is kind of my last opportunity today to drive this car on the stock wheels and tires. I'm going to the track today, so I'm going to swap out my grippier set of wheels and tires for the Falcon Azini's RT615Ks. And I wanted to get some impressions on what this is like to drive with the standard setup, because probably I won't be mounting these wheels until springtime. I'm still absolutely loving the FT86 Speedfactory header and the OFT OpenFlash tune. For the full list of modifications, of course, check out the description. I've got everything listed there. So when the BRZ came out, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, they kind of played around with the suspension a little bit between that and the FRS, but they didn't really do a good job nailing the dampers, nailing the dynamics. The BRZ always had a little bit of understeer, and it was kind of frustrating because it was difficult to dial out, and really what fixed that was the sway bar from the new 2017 BRZ. Basically what I did was I bought a set of springs and shocks, all mounted, ready to rock and roll, with like 700 miles on them. I bought this setup from a guy who was selling them used, 300 bucks. And then I went out and bought the rear sway bar from a new 2017 BRZ/86. I bought it from Toyota, but it's the same part number. And that absolutely transformed the handling on this car. It is unbelievably good. No understeer, super neutral, just incredible dynamics. This is what I was looking for with this car. You don't need to change out the front sway bar, same part number, but all the springs and dampers on all four sides are different. I believe they stiffen the front, soften the rear, and then stiffen the rear sway bar. And what it translates to is this phenomenal ride quality. You hit a bump and you don't brace for impact like you used to. You actually can take the bump, and ride quality is really nicely smoothed out, and the handling is it's a night and day difference. Let's talk about gearing. 70 miles an hour, I'm sitting at 3150 RPM. Another 150 RPM over what I was before. It would always sit at $3,000 at 70. Not a big deal. Haven't noticed a loss in fuel economy. And as a result, it makes for a much, much better gearing experience when you're shifting between the gears. And also, it's just, this car deserved shorter gearing. It really did. The 4.3 is perfect for this car's character. It was always a little bit tall, and aside from being down on power, the gearing was too tall, which kind of compounded the problem. But now I think this 4.3 final drive is just perfect. And so I bought that on eBay from a wrecked BRZ of 2017 for 650 bucks. It was cheap. Okay. Well, the BRZ is finally done. There's really nothing else I want to do to this car. I want to fix the rattle down there under the driver's side footwell. But this is exactly what I've always wanted from this car. I wanted nice ride quality, very perfect neutral handling. The gearing is just right now. I think Subaru made this engineering / marketing decision to have second gear go to 60 miles an hour to raise that 0 to 60 time. And then in 2017 they said, screw that, let's just make the car good and fast. And it's actually quicker with this shorter gearing up to 70 miles an hour or 50 miles an hour. But just to 60 you have to shift before you red line hits at about 55 miles an hour, 57 miles an hour. And the engineers won out on that argument, and I'm so glad they did, because it really makes a big difference. Yeah, the best way I can describe the ride quality now is it's just softer. You have more grip. The car is way better balanced. There's virtually no understeer. It's pretty amazing the difference in what the suspension made. There's my alarm. Time to wake up. But yeah, I mean this really did transform the car, and it feels like a new 2017 BRZ. That's pretty plain and simple. I drove that car, fell in love with it, and actually it was an 8.6, but fell in love with it, and I was like, gosh, these are the two biggest differences with this new platform, or this new update, this refresh. I gotta do it. So I found the parts on eBay and locally on Craigslist, and that pretty much makes the car complete. I'm also testing the TS this week, and it's really interesting comparing the two. This original BRZ, I love the interior on this car. It's so minimalist, it's so simplistic, it's beautiful. It's really a classic sports car interior. And the new TS is just a mess. The interior is all over the place. There's so many different fabrics and colors and stitching and all this just stuff in there. But damn, does the TS drive well. It drives perfectly. It's a little bit stiffer, it's a little bit sharper, but the dynamics are just perfect. They're nailed. The braking, everything. It actually, I'm a little bit embarrassed to admit this, but it actually feels a little bit more powerful than this car. We're going to the racetrack later today. We're going to Gingerman, and I'm going to do a little bit of a comparison between this car and the TS with stickier rubber on this car, because I want it to have a little bit more of an advantage than on the stock tires. But we'll have to do a drag race and see how the two compare, because the TS feels quicker with that updated engine. And this has header, exhaust, tune. It feels good. It's linear, and it really pulls nicely, but I think the TS has a little bit more torque. They didn't raise the peak horsepower very much, but that torque dip all the way through, they made a big difference with the new engine update, and it pulls very well. It feels good. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same car. The TS has aero, which is really nice because you can go flat out in corners that you can't really in this, and but higher levels of grip from both cars than before, and I'm really happy with the way this drives. This makes this car so much more fun and so much more enjoyable to drive, as well as more comfortable. So that's really what I was going for. If you guys are looking to kind of refresh and update your 2016 and prior BRZ FRS 8.6, FT86, whatever it is, I would definitely look for 2017 Plus suspension and differential. It made a really big difference on this car, and it was pretty easy to swap out too. So anyway, guys, let me know if you have any questions in the comments. We'll catch you later. And actually, we'll catch you at the track, because we're going to head out here in about an hour or two. I'm going to swap out these wheels, and we'll go from there. See you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Go buy a BRZ. They're amazing. So much fun. Still absolutely love this car. I was thinking for a little while that I might get a Miata, an ND, but I've really enjoyed this car more and more the more I've owned it, and I haven't really been able to say that about many cars that I've owned. I think this car and the Lexus, the GX460, are my favorite cars ever. Between that and the Lexus, this is kind of my perfect garage. And I still have the Volvo too, and I really enjoy driving that. And I'm going to keep that going too, but yeah, I don't feel like adding anything to the garage right now. This is a really great setup. I think if an elephant escaped from the zoo and sat on my BRZ, I'd go out and buy another one. I'd go buy a 2017 or 2018 in a heartbeat. Probably get a 2017 performance package. CPO'd. And then swap all the stuff over from this car to that. Whatever the elephant didn't crush. Oh yeah. Alright guys, that's it for this one. We'll see you later. Take care.